Today on Forbes, how Zyn conquered America. Along the Ohio River, inside a clean, well-lit factory in Owensboro, Kentucky, dozens of gleaming stainless steel machines, manned by employees in hairnets and safety glasses, churn out millions of tiny, pillow-shaped white fabric pouches filled with flavored pharmaceutical-grade nicotine powder. Every 15 seconds, 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, these automated machines fill a white plastic can the size of a hockey puck with 15 pouches. In a few days' time, containers of the wildly in-demand Zyn will appear in convenience stores, gas stations, and bodegas across the United States. And a few days after that, the shelves will be reliably empty, and retailers will be begging Philip Morris International, also known as PMI, which owns Zyn's manufacturer, Swedish Match, for more. Elizabeth Leary, who has managed River's Edge Tobacco Outlet in Owensboro for a decade, says she has never sold a nicotine product with such fervent acolytes. She explains that she's constantly out of stock, despite being just a few miles from the factory. She says, quote, 50% of my customers come here for Zyn. I've never seen a product this popular. By the end of 2024, Stamford, Connecticut-based PMI expects to sell as much as 580 million cans of Zyn, a 50% increase over the 385 million sold last year. Forbes estimates that Zyn sales, which PMI does not break out in public filings, generated $1.3 billion last year, about 3.7% of PMI's $35 billion in total revenue, and could hit $1.9 billion this year. Overall, PMI's smoke-free products, Zyn, vaporizers, its heat-not-burn device IQOS, and chewing tobacco, hit $12.5 billion in sales last year, up from $9.9 billion in 2022. And they account for nearly 40% of the company's gross revenue as of the fourth quarter. Zyn, in particular, is insanely lucrative. A can, which comes in 10 flavors including cinnamon, citrus, and wintergreen, retails for about $6.50. Bonnie Herzog, an analyst for Goldman Sachs who covers the tobacco industry, says that Zyn is 6 times more profitable than PMI's cigarette division. And unlike cigarettes, which have been steadily declining in volume for the last decade, Zyn is in hyper-growth mode. Shipment volume in the US has jumped a staggering 238% since 2020. It's a new business for PMI, which bought Swedish Match and its Zyn brand for $16 billion in 2022. But the cult nicotine pouch is critical to its future. PMI makes the world's #1 cigarette brand, Marlboro, but its stated goal is eventually to stop selling cigarettes. That may sound crazy, if not improbable, given that global cigarette sales rang up $22.3 billion for the company in 2023. Since 2008, PMI has invested $12 billion to create less harmful smoke-free nicotine delivery systems. Stacey Kennedy, the 51-year-old head of PMI's U.S. operations, and who smoked Marlboros for 10 years before switching to the IQOS and the occasional Zyn, says, quote, I think Zyn is proof that nicotine can be used to replace more harmful products. PMI is investing $232 million to expand the Owensboro factory by 40%, adding 450 new full-time jobs. Soon, it will operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. By the end of 2025, Kennedy estimates, Swedish Match can manufacture 900 million Zyn containers. That could bring Zyn sales to $2.9 billion, Forbes estimates. Kennedy says, quote, this will ease the squeeze on what's been a bit of a supply constraint. While pouches have successfully divorced nicotine from the cigarette, they still have health risks. For one, nicotine is ferociously addictive. It is also a vasoconstrictor, meaning it narrows blood vessels, and it raises blood pressure. Cancer seems to be less of a concern. A Swedish Match-funded study found that the pouches contain, quote, below the respective limit of quantification of cancer-causing tobacco-specific nitrosamines. The study also found that Zyn contains low levels of other harmful chemicals, including ammonia, chromium, formaldehyde, and trace amounts of nickel. For full coverage, check out Will Yakowitz's piece on Forbes.com. This is Kieran Meadows from Forbes. Thanks for tuning in.